Hey everyone, Happy New Year. So we are at the start of 2024 and this is the first video of the year. I've had a well-rested break. I hope that you guys have, and I am back with a bang. TNT. It is going to be dynamite. This year, so much is going to be coming up this year. I'm so looking forward to giving you some great content. So before we get into things, what is coming up? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the pregnancy surrounding Archie. This has been a topic of deep discussion by many people. Was she, wasn't she? But I'm going to be talking about some of the things I noticed and what I think was happening. And later on, whether it be this week or next week, I'm then going to be going into the birth of Lily and the pregnancy surrounding Lily and what I think in regards to that. The other things we've got coming up is I'm going to be talking about Megxit, what I really think happened. And again, these are my thoughts and opinions. You do not have to believe them. And what I ask is you keep an open mind, because there are so many different things out there. But at the end of the day, you have free will to believe what you choose to believe. So if you want to join me in these discussions that I'll be having here, and if you haven't subscribed already, then please think about doing so. Please do not forget to like this video if you have enjoyed it. It really It really does mean a lot to the algorithm and to me personally. But the subscribing, it just means that you do not miss future uploads. And don't forget to click all on the notification bell. Otherwise you will miss the uploads that I do. So that being said, and you can skip this part because I'm never going to change it, you can grab your drink of choice. And today, as always, I am drinking my cherries and berries. As you know, this is a drink that I really do enjoy, and it's a squash. It's non-alcoholic for those of you who have asked me. But you can grab your drink of choice and drop it in the comments what you are sitting back, relaxing with, enjoying this video. And if you want to add a little something, and that is your choice, as some people seem to think that I'm encouraging this. Again, you have free will. You can choose to not partake in the little something, but you can add that to your drink of choice because, as you all know, the flag says behind me. Yep, you got it. It is 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink and let's dive right in. So before I get started in this video, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who got me to 50k. I was so happy with the fact that I woke up on Christmas Eve, and I was hoping that I'd get it by the new year, but I woke up Christmas Eve morning to find that my channel has got to 50k. Thank you so much to all of you who have got me here. As you know, it has been a tough slog after everything that has happened over the last couple of years. But we have all pulled together and we are here. Now, my mission is to get to 100k. Now, could this happen? I don't know. But hopefully 100k by the end of the year. And I think it's because I want my little placard on the wall. I'm going to be honest about that. So I don't know about you guys, but I am festively plump after Christmas. I probably am going to be joining a lot of people who are going to be going into January as I am now, trying to work off those few extra pounds, well, maybe a lot of pounds that I've put on over Christmas, but I've enjoyed it and I think that is the main thing. So I'm sure that most of you are waiting with bated breath. Now I have written some notes because there was so much that with my menopause brain, I knew that I was not going to remember everything, and there probably are going to be some things that I've forgotten. And I'm sure you guys will drop in the comments. So I want to start with talking about Archie. And I'm going to start from talking about like when Archie was, let's say, conceived and the pregnancy announcement XYZ. And if you're new here, if you've stuck through this first bit, I am a certified, qualified psychotherapist. I have trained in person-centered therapy. I've also done training in NLP and CBT, and I have studied within that body language. So I look at things, and I look at not just what's being said, but what's not being said. I read between the lines, and I look at a lot of things, and I give you my thoughts and opinions on that. So, and as I've said before, you do not have to believe me. The timeline, you know, I'm fascinated by timelines. They met, so let's start with this. They met in May 2016. They were engaged by November 2017. They were married by May 2018. Archie was born May 2019. They left, makes it happened, January 2020. And then Lily, allegedly, was born 2021. Now, I find that quite interesting that there's just been these there's been something big every year. And they seem to move quite quickly. Maybe there's nothing in that, but I just find it quite odd that given the nature of their relationship, that they seem to have moved quite quickly with things. So talking about Archie, and this is going to be a long video, by the way, so bear with me. So in Harry's book Spare, he states he told his family the news at Eugenie's wedding, which was in October 2018. This was due, and this is his words in his book, to them finding out a few days before. So what I've written here is that Harry is expecting us to believe that at the age Meghan was at the time, which you're looking at late 30s, so we're looking at a geriatric pregnancy here, which is a high-risk pregnancy. So we're expected to believe that Meghan, so bearing in mind that she would have been conceived, and this is on the, and I want to say that you guys know what I think about Archie. This is going on the preconceived notion that this is real, the way they're telling it to us, even though I don't believe it is. But he's expecting us to believe that, so she would have conceived Archie around July, August 2018. I think that's correct. So not long after they were married, not that that's entirely impossible, we're expected to believe that Meghan, who in her own words has never been pregnant before, and I know other people will say that there's a possibility that she was, and there has been some things which I've done a video on that has been put out there that makes it seem that she possibly was pregnant at one time. However, you're telling me that as a woman of this age, now I understand that some young people perhaps, or maybe some people that are more overweight, and I'm sure there are possibly some areas where you may not realise you're pregnant. Now, bearing in mind that Meghan is older and she's very slim framed, I just do not believe that she didn't notice any change in her body. And again, this is on the proviso that she is or was pregnant at the time. So they're creating us to believe that Meghan had gone 4 or 5 months and didn't know she was pregnant. And they found out apparently just before Eugenie's wedding. A little bit convenient there. Now, okay, hypothetically, let's argue the fact that, say that's true. Say that's true. Why would you choose to tell your family, even though you've just found out on the day of your cousin's wedding? One day would have made no difference. They could have told them the day before, say, let's just say for argument's sake, or the day after. But they chose, in Harry's own words, in his book, to tell the family on the day of Eugenie's wedding. Now, again, this is a geriatric pregnancy. We have seen zero footage of Meghan going to clinics doctors arriving, nothing. But somehow she miraculously found out, okay, she could have done a pregnancy test, but again, she's a geriatric pregnancy. So why would you not have specialists looking into this to make sure this is all okay? And in Harry's own words, he says, you know, there was also the fact that, you know, was there no tenderness in her breast? Because I know most women suffer with this. I'm not saying all, but most. On one hand, he writes they were deliriously happy when they found out. And then the next breath, he says, but he felt obliged to tell his family before going on their 16-day tour to Australia. So again, we have the fact that, I'm going to reiterate, that Meghan is a geriatric pregnancy, which is classed for any woman over the age of 35 if they fall pregnant. And they are at high risk. They've just found out that she's pregnant. Now, okay, she wouldn't be in her first trimester because that period would have passed. However, given the fact that she is a high-risk pregnancy, they choose to go on a flight, on over a 24 hours flight to Australia. Now, these things are planned well in advance. You're telling me that at no point could she have said, I'd rather not go because I don't want to risk the pregnancy. If you are of that age and you are of the belief, even if the doctors are saying, well, you know, you could be okay to fly, I absolutely believe a doctor would say, however, you are a geriatric pregnancy, there is always a risk. Maybe a small one, but there is always a risk. Now, I'm pretty sure that most women would have said, you know what, this is my first child, because again, we're just going to go on the belief that she doesn't have another child. I'm not going to risk. So I think given the circumstances, I'm not going to go. She didn't. Now, I don't believe for one second that anyone in the royal family is made to go. We know often that Catherine has stayed behind when William has done things. So I don't believe that she was made to go. It was a choice and she chose to go. But let's go back to the actual moment when she revealed this pregnancy. Now, this wasn't Harry. In my opinion, this was not Harry revealing the pregnancy at the time of Eugenie's wedding. This was Meghan turning up in a coat, and I'm going to put a picture up here or here, whichever way it is, turning up in a coat that was buttoned with, weirdly enough, two buttons that were a different colour at the top, where there was silver at the top, I think, and black at the bottom. But she did the first two buttons up and left the other ones undone. Firstly, that's odd. Not many people do their coats up that way. Secondly, I think the buttons were changed intentionally to draw attention to the fact, because if they were all black, probably no one would have probably noticed. But because the two big silver ones were very bold, it was noticed. So things were circulating. Social media, there was a buzz, you know, is Meghan pregnant? You know, look at the way she's buttoning her coat. So of course the media would have picked up on this, and they did pick up on this. And I think it was intentional. The thing with the spare book, I think, as we know, most of this was either written by Meghan or she certainly helped write this in a way. And so that was because there was a lot of backlash that came out regarding the pregnancy and the fact that they exposed it at Eugenie's wedding and Jack Brookbank's wedding. And so she wants to cover her dairy hair, should I say. And I think that she wrote that in there, or she got Harry to put that in there, or the ghostwriter, whoever, and has made it seem as Harry was the one that told everybody. Now, from what I have heard, he was angry at her for the way she dressed herself. Now, again, this is all on the proviso that we are going to believe that Meghan was pregnant. And this is why, when you look at her behaviour, I do not believe it for 1 second. I do not believe for 1 second this woman was pregnant. I have done a video, well, multiple videos on this. firstly, your protective instincts tend to kick in as a mother. Even a mother who is pregnant, you start to feel very protective over your little bump. Unless you are somebody that doesn't particularly want to be pregnant, doesn't particularly care about children. I'm not saying that there are not some that feel a disconnect. I do know there are. However, we're talking about Meghan here, and we know that she's a narcissist. So, in my opinion, regardless of what else that was going on behind the scenes, she is there pretending to be pregnant, and she's done it on purpose. She has turned up at Eugenie's wedding to Jack Brookbanks, purposely dressed the way she did. She wanted it exposed. She wanted it in the media. Because again, with a narcissist, the attention has to be on her. So then begs the question, why? Why would she do that to Eugenie? Because it come out that Fergie was very angry with them for putting out that she was pregnant, because it took the attention away from Eugenie. Understandably so. This is a bride's wedding day. You do not do that. As a woman, you know not to do that. As a man, you might be forgiven for thinking he's a bit thoughtless. But as a woman, you know there are just certain things you do not do, and that to overshine a woman on her wedding day is just one of those things that you just don't do. And Meghan would know this. She would know this, and so she did it intentionally. So like I say, it begs the question, why? Now, I've spoken before about the fact that I think Meghan is linked to Andrew. I have spoken about this in length. I've had things sent to me. I've had discussions with people, and her links go way back with Andrew. That's why when she did this whole thing, and I think it was mentioned in the book that she didn't even know who he was. Even if you didn't have links to Andrew, you know who Prince Andrew is. So to me, it was almost as if to say, I have no idea who he is. I think she does. And that's why I also think that she's created this almost fake friendship with Eugenie and Beatrice, when actually none of that's true. She might have gone in the similar circles because she was at Soho House, but I don't think she was friends with them. Because if she was, why would she say she knew nothing about the royal family? Doesn't make sense, doesn't track. If you're friends with a member of the royal family, then you would know about the royal family. So I don't believe that she was friends with them at all. And in fact, I think that a lot of what she's done, where she's publicly spoken about Fergie, the curtsy and things, I think none of that was true. But I think she's dropped these little nuggets in because she probably believes that Fergie and Eugenie are not going to say anything because of the threat that Meghan knows stuff about Andrew. And I think she does. And I think this whole thing with Epstein, and I will get to that in another video, but I think that the connections there are that she possibly was part of that scene. And so she does know some things. And there were rumours that she was going to be called as evidence in the Virginia Giuffre. Now, again, this is all allegedly. I don't know. And the rumours are this is why this girl was paid off, because they didn't want anything more coming out. That's possible. The dots do connect, in my opinion. And I know that some people might say this is a bit conspiracy theorist. And again, I understand that. It's so far out there. But given the things that we understand and we start to learn about the way the elite work, it's not a far stretch. They do cover things up. They do use money to do that. You know, we've got to look at the fact that there is a very possible chance that Meghan was connected to Andrew, which then says that she's toying. Narcissists like to play with their the people that they go up against, a bit like a cat plays with a mouse. That's how narcissists behave. And I think that she was doing that. I think that she was doing that with them. And I think that's why she did what she did around this alleged pregnancy. So they dropped this news on the royal family with zero notice. And then they were going to be heading off to Australia. Given the fact, like I say, that she was a geriatric pregnancy, would you not think that they would have things in place? The royal doctors, nurses, you know, you name it. You would have these people put in place, and things would have to be changed because this tour was already planned. It's already decided. They don't just suddenly wake up one day and go, oh, we're going on a tour in Australia. These are planned in advance because they have to be, because of security, and because of the fact they would have to make sure that she was okay. Why was there none of that? We didn't see any of that. Would Harry not have cared that his pregnant wife, who is a high-risk pregnancy, his first child, why did he not put his foot down and say, no, you're not going, we can't risk this? So we're led to believe that Meghan, who's the love of his life, and she's pregnant with his first child, that you would be excited to tell your family. You wouldn't be reluctant to tell your family. Because at this point, his family and him are still close. So why would you not feel excited? I just think that choice of word was very strange to me. I think the choice of, I felt obliged to tell my family. Who says that? Who says that? The way he makes it seem, the way he's talking about, oh, I hoped that my family were happy and I told Willie and he told me that we should tell Kate. And, it went as, and my dad, and yet he felt obliged to tell them. Why do you feel obliged to tell your family that your wife is pregnant? This should be one of the most happiest times of your life. I just find that whole situation very weird. I think she knew that if she wore that coat, there was going to be speculation. And I think then the royal family were forced to make a statement. I think this is all planned. I think she knew what she was doing, which we've seen many times before. She does enjoy upstaging the royal family every chance she gets. Looking at this all in the way that they are creating us to see this, of that she actually was pregnant. Now, people have said that they believe that a surrogate was used. In my opinion, for the royal family to lie, which if a surrogate was used, this means the royal family are in on this. Now, I'm not saying that they were in on it in the beginning. For example, they have then, say, decided to use a surrogate. Now, why? Because people have said that she's had a hysterectomy. Now, I cannot find any video footage because apparently her father has said, or her brother has said, that she had a hysterectomy. I cannot find any evidence of this. However, I have found this. Now, I don't know how credible this is, but I have found it. So, okay, so this says if she had a hysterectomy, then two things. The theory of a surrogate, or the theory that which is the one I believe, is that Harry got somebody pregnant. If a surrogate was used, they would at some point had to have told the royal family. I do not believe that she could have gone the whole 9 months pretending to be pregnant and the royal family not know. Whether they knew in the beginning, I don't know. I would like to think not. But at some point, they found out. It's hypothetical. So in which case then, at some point they knew, and at some point they chose to go along with it. Now, is this a little bit upsetting to feel that the royal family know about this? And yes, of course it is. But I have to believe that there's a reason why they've gone along with it, because I do not believe in any shadow of a doubt the royal family would have gone along with this without there being a reason. Because it's not big enough. They could have come up with anything. They could have come up with that Meghan lost the child and that they are going to use a surrogate. They could have come up with anything. So the fact is, if she wanted the surrogate because she wanted the child to be in the line of succession, we are being led to believe that the Queen would accept this. the Queen and the royal family would be okay lying about a surrogate being used and making it seem that this child was Harry and Meghan's. I don't believe so. The Queen, if nothing, was a very integral person, and I actually completely believe that William, Catherine, Camilla and Charles are too, and to be honest, the others. So I do not believe, even if they had lied about it in the beginning and then it had been found out, I don't believe they would have said, look, okay, we're going to now lie to the public and put your children in the line of succession. I just don't. I genuinely don't believe they would have done that over a surrogate. However, I do believe that they would cover it up to protect Harry if Harry had done something that he shouldn't have done. If Harry had got somebody pregnant, whether it be a member of staff, and we know that he has no respect for women. So let's be honest, we know that there's probably times when he's gone out and slept around and he's been so drunk or drugged up that he's not used protection. There is every chance that there is an illegitimate child. And okay, again, that's not enough for the family to say, lie about this and say this child is both of theirs. But two reasons. One, if Harry has done something to this woman who, and again, I say allegedly, because of some of the rumours that were coming out of him being very aggressive, could it be that he's done something along those lines and this woman fell pregnant? Or secondly, which is also what I could believe, is that Meghan threw a hissy fit when this come out, that he's, and we've already spoken about the fact that he was seeing somebody called Sarah McLachlan when he first started seeing Meghan. So he was seeing other women at the same time, or at least her. That's come out. That's public knowledge. The things about him and the way he's talked about women and treats women is public knowledge. I mean, I'm not saying anything that isn't true here. So when you put those together, Meghan being a narcissist who doesn't love Harry but sees Harry as a meal ticket is not going to want to give that up for anything or anyone. So if Harry has got somebody pregnant, there is every chance that maybe they thought that that would split them up. Maybe. Because at this point, Meghan's behaviour has been coming through. Meghan, being Meghan, who's not wanted to give this meal ticket up and the cash cow that she believes Harry is, and what comes with being a member of the royal family, has said, probably, hypothetically, I'll go along with this. I'll pretend to be pregnant. The woman will have the child. I will support you in this, but we've got to get married. And so this could also be why the engagements suddenly become rushed, because they've got to be sort of engaged for a little while. I don't know. But it seems more plausible to me that the royal family would be behind this, and they probably wanted to keep it as quiet as possible. And Meghan, being the way she is, thought, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to force the issue, expose that I'm pregnant, and so it then forces the royal family into a cover-up. And I think that's what happened. I have a belief, in my opinion, I think that it was very possible that Harry got somebody pregnant and Meghan played them and come out that she was pregnant when she wasn't, and they forced the royal family to, in a way, protect Harry by exposing Meghan was pregnant, because Meghan has, in a way, come out that she's pregnant. The alternative to that would have been to expose that Harry has done something bad and that Meghan is lying. And we all know that that would have created such a mess And Meghan would have come out fighting. She would have cried racism. She's probably threatened Harry. She's probably got, as I've said, she's probably got things on Harry anyway. And so they kind of had to go along with it. Now, I know, again, this sounds very conspiracy theorist, but we have to either look at Meghan was really pregnant, because these are the three options. Meghan was really pregnant and she carried Archie to full term. There's a surrogate, in which case the royal family at some point know that this is a surrogate, because there's no way that she could have gone 9 months and hid this for 9 months with apparently her doctor, which I'll get to in a minute, and the royal family knew nothing about this, and she managed to fool the whole royal family, when the rest of us are watching her in the public media and can see that she's lying. So you can't tell me that the royal family didn't see that. Of course they did. They've got eyes, they can see. And if nothing, I think Catherine would have seen through her, and probably Camilla. Or, in which what I think is that Harry got somebody pregnant, and Meghan, who didn't want to give him up because it's money for her, fame and everything that comes with that, and pretended to go along with it, but is now using that as leverage because she now knows the truth about the children. And she probably threatens to expose the truth. And because Meghan has no qualms about coming out and lying, the royal family would know. The royal family are not going to come out and defend themselves, because how can you defend something like this? Because if it comes out that they knew, it brings everything into question, because the public are going to say, well, if you lied about this, what else have you lied about? And maybe Meghan and Harry are telling the truth. So she's kind of got them over a barrel. So I think that's what's playing out here. I think she's manipulated this whole situation. If you're going to believe that these children are really with them, then she has sat, and again, this is why I don't believe that she's a mother. And in all fairness, at this point, I don't think Harry's, he might be the father, the biological father, but he certainly doesn't behave like a father. Obviously, we know about the whole situation with how dark his skin was, and I've spoken about that. They both had different versions. So again, I don't believe that happened either. Or if it did, again, it wasn't in the context that it was originally. And I actually think that this is probably Harry that probably joked about that with some of his family, and he then relayed this back to Meghan, and she's used this as a weapon. And then we have the whole situation in regards to the actual birth of Archie, the secrecy, the weirdness around the birth, the fact that she didn't want to have her moment on the Diana moment on the steps of, is it St Mary's Hospital, where all of the other royal children were born. She wanted to have her child at the Portland Hospital. And she says, I had been really worried going into that labour because I'm older. I didn't know if I'd have to have a C-section. And I had a very long-standing relationship with my doctor, and that's who I trusted with my pregnancy. She had a very long-standing relationship with her doctor. How? Her doctor would have been an obstetrician? Sorry if I get that wrong. She's been in the UK for a minute. So how has she built up a long-term relationship with a doctor who's solely focused on childbirth, who happens to work at the Portland Hospital? Again, I call BS. I don't believe for 1 second that happened. She hasn't formed a relationship with a doctor. How is that? What, have you just met at some random doctor for drinks? And, oh, do you know what? I'm actually going to be pregnant at some point. I'd like you to just, I'd like to build a friendship with you. And so then you can look after my child. When? When did that happen? And if that is the case, why all the secrecy? If there's a doctor at the Portland Hospital that's supposed to be this great doctor that she's got friendly with, why all the secrecy and the lies and the cover-ups around the birth of Archie? why not just say, this doctor is, you know, we're not comfortable doing it at St Mary's. The doctor that I've come to know works at the Portland Hospital. But according to them, weren't they rushed into A&E, which Portland Hospital doesn't have A&E? So yeah, all of a sudden, and the only reason we find this doctor out is when apparently she helped through video call the birth of Lily. Then we find out the name of this doctor, and her name is, Dr. Gary Martha, and I'm going to put her picture up here. She's a world-renowned childbirth pioneer. And she does state on her website that she helped Meghan with Lily. But I don't believe this for a second, because if this was the case, then why lie? Why have all the secrecy? You know, it does make you question why somebody would be okay with lying about something like this. And at the end of the day, money, because she appeared by video call. Difficult to prove that. And the other funny thing is the other doctor that was present at apparently Lily's birth has disappeared off the face of the planet, shut her clinic down and disappeared. Funny that. Anyway, we're going to get to Lily in another video. So she says that she's known this doctor for a long time. So, okay. Then why didn't she speak to this doctor when she was having all this suicidal ideation? If she's really close with this doctor and really good friends with her, why not contact her? And again, why hasn't the media spoken about this? Why hasn't the media said, hang on a minute, but if she's under doctors and nurses because she's pregnant and she's a geriatric pregnancy, so she would have had regular visits from doctors and nurses, why at no point did she think to go, I'm really struggling? Why did it suddenly become the royal family's fault? Because apparently they said no, and she went to HR. Who goes to HR when you're... Oh, just the lies, honestly. The other thing that really annoyed me when I was reading this as well is that she said that the reason she wanted the female doctor is because she didn't want the men in grey suits involved. And by that, I'm guessing that she was talking about the male, the sort of elderly male doctors that were the royal doctors. And I think, how utterly disrespectful. Can you imagine, say, if a man was talking about a woman in that way? Oh, I didn't want a female doctor because they're old and, you know, they're just not suitable. But yet she can say it. She can call. I mean, these men are the top of their field and have trained and had years and years and years experience and work. And she has the audacity to come in and go, well, they're just like the men in grey suits, don't really want them. And again, media say nothing. They print it, but they don't call her out on it. Why are they so afraid? Why are they so afraid to call her out on the BS that she spouts? And Harry. They literally, they print it, but they don't fact check into anything. They don't call her out on the lies that she said. Now, when did she form this long-standing friendship with this doctor? Who only suddenly seemed to appear when apparently she was creating the lie around Lily. Also, as well, given the fact that she is a narcissist, like I've said before, there's no way she would not have had her Diana moment on the steps of St Mary's Hospital. No way. She would have had that. There has to have been a big enough reason for why she didn't. And it's not because she wants to protect the child. It's nothing to do with that. It's because probably what I believe is that this child was not born at St Mary's or the Portland or anywhere. The child was born by somebody else, and she couldn't have her Diana moment because it just wouldn't have happened, because this child was not born from her body. And from what I imagine and what I've heard is it's possible that the child was born a lot earlier. So they would have needed to create a newborn child. And that's why we got the walkout that they did. And if you look at the video footage, it's very bizarre. Firstly, her choice of dress. I'm not sure any newborn mother wears white because of, you know, seepage or whatever it is. Her stomach, even though, yes, we know that when you have a pregnant child, your stomach doesn't go back to normal, but it's still, her stomach looks very odd to me. And the fact that you're wearing a button-down dress the way it was, just her choice of clothing just seemed a bit odd to me, but possibly intentional. At the end of the day, we know that narcissists do everything to antagonize and, like I say, toy and play. And I think that's what she's done. Yes, I know people have picked up on the fact that there was weight gain, but her weight gain seemed to be after. When she was literally up until like 8-9 months pregnant, she just had weight gain in her tummy. And that's not unusual. There are a lot of women that literally only gain weight around their tummy or and their breast area, but I didn't see her breasts get enlarged. But all of a sudden, her face becomes puffy. She seems to put a lot of weight on around the actual birth of Archie. And I think that this is because she's watching social media and because she's seeing that people are commenting that there's no weight gain. She's seeing that people are commenting on the fact that the pregnancy is a bit weird. So I think that's when she would have created the weight gain. And there are supplements, there are hormonal supplements you can take. There are things that you can do to even create milk to be present in your breast. The things that you can do, and remember that she's been in this industry for a long time and she would have known how to lose weight, put on weight very quickly. So the weight gain to me is not evidence of being pregnant. And when you put everything together, and if you haven't seen my video of the pregnancy the video that I do, please go and watch that, because to me it exposes everything. It exposes her bump inflating, the fact that it drops to her knees in that purple dress, the fact that 1 minute it's out there, next minute it's almost flat. That just doesn't happen, in my opinion. And so I think that the child that we see, people have said, you know, and called out that it's a Darren doll. I think people have said. And I think it's very odd to me the way Harry carries the child. And at one point you see him digging his thumb, and I will find a picture and put it up here, but he's digging his thumb into the child. And you see that he's digging his thumb so hard that the blood, it goes white. Now, people have said that, is that possible that there's a button we're trying to press for the breathing or something? I don't know. But to me, again, it's very odd the way they behave. But it's difficult to show this, because, you know, whether or not you believe this was a doll or not, that's entirely your choice. I am of the belief in that moment that either one of two things, either the child they're carrying is the real Archie, but actually that's not, but that's why Harry's holding the child and not her, because the child is his and not hers. Or the child was born before and they've used a doll. In my opinion, what proud parents wouldn't show off their child? Why would you wait 2 or 3 days? Which makes me think that they were putting something in place. Maybe waiting for Amazon to deliver. I don't know. Should I have said that? I'm not so sure. I don't know. I think the biggest thing for me is that the fact that all the medical staff were kept secret. There was no signatures on when they put these placard up on the royal family. Normally there's the signatures of the royal doctors, but there was nothing. Yes, I know people have said about that thing that went up on Twitter about the surrogacy and then was taken down again. I don't know. People have said that that's a fake. I genuinely don't know. I mean, one or two things. Either they were going to put out that it was a surrogate because they thought about using that as the ploy, but realised that they shouldn't because that's evidence. So they took it down hoping no one would notice. But people did notice and screenshot. Or it is fake. I don't know. I can't answer that one. that's just my thoughts on this. I'm going to talk about Lily. I don't know which order I'm going to do it in. Maybe I might talk about Megxit actually, because it kind of goes in that timeline. So obviously this with Archie, and then Megxit. So rounding this up, do I feel that Archie is a real child? Because people have said to me that Lady C has said these children are real. In the context of things, these children are real. Even Lily, I believe, was real, but Lily isn't theirs. But do I believe that Archie is a real child? Yes. And I do believe that Archie is potentially Harry's. However, do I believe that Archie is Meghans? Absolutely not. Now, whether you believe that Meghan had a hysterectomy, that is your choice. Like I say, it's very difficult because I can't find any evidence of that. All I can find is what I've shown you on here. So it's very possible that she has. But what I do know is that narcissists are terrible, terrible parents. They do not care about their children at all. But I also know that they will use their children, especially when they're young, to garner whatever they need to get. They are an extension of themselves. Because people have said to me that the reason that we're not seeing the children is because the children are hidden. No. A child is an extension of the narcissist. One of the children are, anyway. And up until Lily was born, it would have been Archie. If Archie isn't hers, she would not want to be around Archie. That's why whenever we have seen her with the child, like Duck Duck Rabbit and with Desmond Tutu, she looks awkward. She doesn't look like a maternal mother, because she isn't. I truly believe that this child is Harry's, and I think he's here in the UK with the real mother. I truly believe that's possibly why when Harry comes over, it's possible that he sees the child and then goes back to the States. Now, the child that we're seeing in the States is someone that they have been using, and I have spoken about before, who I think that they have been using, but they probably are not able to use this child anymore. So they're now having to Photoshop, which is why they are using Miss Anne Harriman, and only a select few people will only ever be allowed to photograph the children, the alleged children. If these children were real, trust me, they would be doing OK Magazine, Hello Magazine, every magazine you could think of, they will be doing photo shoots. Every time the royal family come out with the children, up would pop Harry and Meghan with the children, because she hates Catherine. Harry is angry with William, but she absolutely hates Catherine, and then by definition she hates Charlotte. So she would be upstaging Catherine whenever she can, which we've seen her do, but she would be using Lily to upstage Catherine. We've not seen that. We have not seen any of that. But the reason she doesn't bring Lily over here is because Lily isn't with them. I don't know. But anyway, but this is what I think in regards to Archie. And I will do Megxit next and give you my opinion on why I think Megxit happened. Now, I'm sorry this is a really, really long video, but for me to get everything out, I had to do it as a long video. But you know what? It's the first one of the new year, so why not? So let me know what you think in the comments. If there's things I've missed out, drop them in the comments. I'm sure there are. There was a lot, and I had to do a bit of research on this. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to give this video a like if you have enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed, then think about doing so already, and do not forget to click all on the notification bell so you do not miss future uploads. And that all bell gets very lonely at times, so make sure that you do click it because it wants to be involved, and it does help the algorithm. If you would like to buy my merchandise, you can click on the link in the description box below. You can send me something, and I just want to say also thank you to everybody who sent me some Christmas cards and Christmas prezzies for me, Arthur. I even got someone sent me something for my mum and dad and the kitties. So thank you so much for all of your kindness. It's been so lovely. Thank you to everyone who's joining as members. I am getting around to putting you up on the member board. Thank you to all of you, because without you this channel wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So thank you, it really does mean so much to me. All the links, emails, etc., my other social media platforms are all in the description box below. If you'd like to treat me to a cuppa, you can do. The link is also in the description box below, but it's also just above the subscribe button as well. There's a little icon and you can click on it there and treat me to a cuppa if you've enjoyed this video. So yeah, so in the meantime, I will see you in the next one. And I say, here's the 2024 onwards and upwards. In the meantime, take care as always. I love you. I appreciate you. But most of all, I respect you. Take care. Bye-bye. Mwah.